Hello everyone. Today we will look at the modules for sending messages and inviting contacts. In the left menu of the software, we open the Contacts book section, and here we will find the sending and inviting modules for contacts. This means that once you have previously added a certain list of contacts to your accounts through the Contact Addition module, you can work with those contacts. You can either invite them to a chat or send them a message. Let's open the sending module for contacts. The text and content being sent here are similar to any other sending module. For example, by usernames, it's exactly the same. The difference is that instead of usernames, you have the contacts on the accounts you added earlier. So, almost all the settings are the same as in a regular sending module. We won't stop here because it's all the same, however. We will focus on the option to delete the contact and the account if the status is done. This means that if the software successfully sends a message to the contact in this module, it will delete it from the contacts list. This is done so that, for example, your contacts will only include those users you haven't interacted with yet. Now, let's do a random send, and I will also show you how databases are created. We select the accounts that have contacts. As you can see, the last used module was adding to contacts. For the rest, we'll specify to delete the contact and enable that option. For everything else, we'll leave it as is. You can set up the module as a complete sending process. Now, let's look at the log. The software connects to our accounts and makes the specified number of sends with the delay we set. And as we can see in the log, let me show you. For example, here is the number of contacts the software reports and how many sends it has completed. Next, it shows what content is being set successfully with a status of done. And there is the line indicating that the contact in the account has been successfully deleted. So, this is our option to delete the contact in the account if the status is done. And everything else follows suit. Also, for all users from all the accounts we selected. This way, only the users you haven't worked with will remain in your account. This is very convenient because you always know, especially if you are working on a single task. For example, with one direction or one offer, and you constantly need to understand if you have assigned accounts to a specific task, direction, or offer. You add them a specific role, add contacts, and that's it. You can work with them easily. This is also convenient for inviting because, as you know, some users will not be added due to their privacy settings. And in such cases, you can successfully go through and invite users if you need to. You will fully engage with your audience by first reaching out to them. For example, this is just an example. Go through and invite them to the chat, working with the invite by contacts. And then for those who remain in contacts, accordingly, these are the users that you couldn't invite. You send them a message. Regarding the invite by contacts module, it's similar. The only difference from a regular invite here is that there is no option for how many users in one request because the work is done by contacts. And by default, one request processes one user. Then everything is standard. You specify the link to the group you will be inviting to, the number of users from one account, the delay between invites. Select accounts, and similarly, as in the module, sending by contacts has the option to delete a contact in the account if the status is done. Thus, as I mentioned earlier, by enabling this option, you will end up with users on your accounts that you couldn't invite to the chat. This is very convenient in this regard. You can then, for example, export contacts from all accounts for those who remain. Either postpone them or you can delete them and upload new contacts. So, you can decide how you want to manage this. Also, in this module, there is no work with databases because the essence of the work is done by contacts. As for sending, here's another point. The software will create a database with results for both sending by contacts and inviting by contacts. Here will be our database. Here's the first mailing. So everything is standard here as well. In this database, it is written which message was sent successfully or unsuccessfully, the status, and the user to whom the message was sent. So all information about your sending is saved, as is the case with most software. Actually, in almost all modules of the software, and the database for convenient tracking or making some changes and other moments. To summarize, sending and inviting by contacts are similar modules to all other such modules. The only difference is that the work is done by contacts. So in one way or another, in some moments, Telegram is more lenient when you work by contacts. Another important point is that, for instance, in the sending by contacts module and in the inviting by contacts module, before you start working with them, it's probably mentioned in the edition. Yes. It's recommended to wait 24 hours before starting to send or invite. So, as I've said multiple times, first, run tests with a small number of accounts. Don't rush into doing it with a large number of accounts. Test with 1 to 2 accounts to see how things work, so you understand what's going on, and then make conclusions and continue working based on those conclusions. All possible recommendations are given, but there are many nuances depending on countries and other factors. Therefore, in many cases, working with users by adding them to contacts beforehand will yield much more. Let us say, profit and will be much more effective if you add them to contacts first. They will sit there for a while, but again, everything needs testing. Everything needs trying out, so test it, study it. Try it out. Thank you all for watching. Goodbye.